What's going on, everybody? Good day. Troy Rawlings here. Welcome to another exciting episode of Meet the. And I have the privilege to be with an amazing music industry pioneer, the queen. I call her the queen, even though it's people before her probably doing it, but nobody did it like she done it. Done it. The queen of dance, house music. Charlton, she's still touring when we can tour.
Yeah.
On her thing. I got a chance to sit down with this amazing woman. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one and only Crystal Waters.
Well, thank you, Troy. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for dealing. She has amazing. Well, y'all didn't get the tour. I got the full tour of the crib. It's amazing. Y'all ain't getting all that, but thank you, Crystal, for taking a minute and time out. And I always say, I like to give everybody their roses and their flowers and their accolades while they're here and with us and doing wonderful. You look amazing. And you've been in the industry now for how long?
91, I think it's 25, 20, nope, 29. So I think Gypsy will be 30 next year.
All right. Let me take it back.
Okay.
I'm Brat. Had no business being in the clubs at 13, but I was in the clubs at 13. There was this club in Baltimore called Fantasies. And that was the house music spot. And I was, Jerome Hicks. Of course, Neil Conway and them. I'm friends with Neil Conway and other people like that. But so Fantasies closed. Something happens. The floors cave in Fantasies. I'm dating myself. Floor caves. They stopped doing parties at this row house in Baltimore City. They start going to the fraternity, the Kappa House somewhere in Northwest Baltimore, and they having parties. Clear the whole place out, wood floors. Jerome Hicks puts his speakers in the corner. They got the special punch in the kitchen.
The special punch.
the special house music party punch. Everything is jamming. They rocking, people dancing, and here this chiming piano start. It's a stripped down mix, and this voice comes over it. She wakes up early in the morning, just in the place. The house heads that are regulars, they already know. I guess, the DJs get everything first. So everybody's going crazy. They doing their hand clapping, they get in their position, they stop. I'm like, all right, this is hot. When that beat dropped, when I tell you, I took my damn cover, lost to this day. I know you heard certain songs. To this day, if I hear that stripped down bone, because there's so many remixes and stuff, I don't know how you do it.
That's
I hear
that strip to the bone mix.
Strip to the bone mix. And anytime I hear that, I don't care what I'm doing. My daughter's 8 years old, and I'll play it on YouTube, and she'll be like,
that is so nice. Thanks for that story.
So, and I graduated from high school in 93. So I was a house head. I'm still a house head. But when I tell you that, and then it for us who became fans and were going to clubs and DJ, it seemed like anytime you were on anything, it was just it was magic. So I do a Tarantino style interview, so I'm gonna jump around. So for those that don't know, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from South New Jersey, exit number 3 on the turnpike. I grew up in Deptford, New Jersey, in a musical family. My father was a jazz musician, and my uncle was the lead saxophone player on MSFB, Sound of Philadelphia. Yeah. So my aunt was Ethel Waters, very famous singer in the 1940s and actress. Cabin in the Sky.
Amazing.
So yeah. I always say I was on the road with my father when he would tour. I would tour with him when I was younger. So I always say I've been on the road since I was 8 years old. So it's just, I didn't see it coming, but I guess I should have known.
And you're a poet head. You a poet. You love writing poetry. Is that where the lyrical comes from?
Well, that's when I was younger. Yeah, I used to love to write poetry. I was very shy, very introverted, and so I would love to be in my bedroom, have my headphones on with the music, or I would sit and write poetry on a typewriter. And I actually saved that typewriter for my kids. So yeah, it was this, I think it was one way to express myself since I didn't really talk, you know.
So when did you, and it's funny, different thing. You were just introverted. You're doing your thing. Academics were pretty big with you. You were
Mm-hmm.
you were crushing in school. When did you graduate high school? How old were you?
I was 16. I got into the advanced classes. Actually, one of them was the creative writing class that actually got me into all the AP classes. And I got out a year early. And then I went to Howard University. So
HU?
HU. Well, yeah, we're real happy right now. We got Kamala's back, so doing as much as I can for her.
I was talking to a business owner there in Baltimore about Howard University and the exposure that the HBCUs are getting now. It's a weird time, but I think we're about to enter an amazing time for our young people, especially learning more of the history of the HBCUs. Okay, so
yeah.
how did you know, or what was the pinnacle point when you go from being an introvert forming?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the story. I'm gonna
Anything.
tell you the story. So I was actually working at the parole board in Washington D.C. I had studied computer science. I was in a computer room, and I always remember this. I had two daughters by this point. I always remember, when you work for the government, you get this page that tells you how much you're going to make every year, G1, G2, whatever. And I looked at it, I was like, I ain't never going to make any money if I stay here. So I don't know, my mom was really into psychics, and she said, go see a psychic, maybe she'll tell you something. So it happened, the psychic fair was in town. Me and my friend goes, and on the way to the fair, I was fine in the morning. On the way to the fair, I lose my voice. Had no voice when I got there. So the first thing she said, you need to do something with your voice. And I was like, yeah, right,
Mhm.
whatever. I could have told me that. And, I thought she meant like public speaking. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I got back to my job and I told everybody the story. And they said, well, Crystal, you're really into music. You just love music. And one of my friends said, my cousin has a studio and they're looking for background singers. He said, I'll go if you go. I was like, I'll go. We went, I got the job. I think I made $600 that week. And I was like, the light bulb kind of went off like,
He's
oh.
like, how much do I make?
I was like, oh, and then hung around the studio as much as I could to see if I get more work, and I realized that I probably have to create my own project, and I knew I could write. That's the one thing I knew I could do really well. I had never really written to a song, but I knew I could write, and that was kind of the light bulb moment. I put an ad in the city paper looking for someone to cook. I know it's crazy. I would not let my daughters do that right now, but I put an ad in the
Hey,
paper.
paper used to be the joint though.
There's in the
Baltimore
music,
paper, you can
yeah,
find
in the
anything.
yep, in the music section, and it was free. I put my ad in there, and I met this guy. He was on the Air Force Base, and we just hit it off. Burt Collins, and we were writing songs like I wanted to be the next Sade at the time. I was doing more of a jazzy, laid back thing. And long story short, we snuck into this conference. We didn't have any money, so we snuck in the back door at the hotel. And I saw the Basement Boys in these leather baseball jackets. They were so cool with Basement Boy, across the back. And I
Right.
handed them the cassette.
Now,
And
at the time, was it Tommy Davis and Teddy Douglas, or who
three
was
of
with the
them.
big?
It was Tommy Davis, Teddy Douglas, and Jay Steinauer.
They stand.
So I handed them the tape. They called me that night. Teddy said, I just love your writing. He said, we don't really do that, but we would like to sign you as a writer to write over some of these dance beats while we shop your stuff. So he said, would you mind writing for other artists while we get your stuff there? I was like, sure, fine. So they started sending tracks. Neil sent his, and the first two songs I wrote was Gypsy Woman and Making Happy. And I went up there. This is back. I had to drive to Baltimore from DC, and I sang the songs in front of them. They just fell out of the chair. I was like, "What?
And
Okay."
just a quick interjection.
uh,
People in DC don't like to drive to Baltimore, so that's why she said,
no, not
"We're
at
going,
not at that
we're going
time.
from
Not in the
Baltimore to
late
DC
'80s.
party." DC's like, no, we got enough here, and y'all close at 2. No, we good. We good.
Yeah, but Baltimore back then, it's like The Wire. You can
Yeah,
go now, everything is real cool. But yeah, but I
where
drove to
they were.
Baltimore for
It
like
was
3, 4 years. Yeah, every weekend I would drive up there and work with them. So I needed to say the rest is history. That's how it all started.
so. All right, you meet the Basement Boys. You recognize because by this time you're in the circle, and some people may be like, man, that just seems like the circle of music. When you get in certain areas like Baltimore, even with New York, even though New York is so big, once you get into the hub of doing music, it's
Mm-hmm.
like a domino effect. Other people talk about other people if you're in the right circles. So the Baltimore
Mm-hmm.
DC area is a small nucleus. So you meet the Basement Boys. When you meet producers that are doing stuff, especially dance music, it's like these mofos never sleep. So I get that they were like, no, we're going to the
Mm-hmm.
studio tonight. We'll hit you in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. And it was so new. The dance music was so new back then. You would only hear it like late night on the radio. So it was just all new. I don't think we even knew what we were doing at the time. But they were, I would say the Basin Boys were producers. They took the time to do live music and live instruments and everything on the track. So it was really a really good connect.
Right. So when did you, I'm going to stay there for a minute. When did you know that, because I always like to hear the process when someone's in the studio, because I was a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of 70s music. When I talk, I told Kendra I talked to Jeffrey Osborne one time and hearing his process, and he was like, "We weren't thinking about albums. We just wanted to have the best performance." So
Mm-hmm.
record companies came. We didn't know a whole bunch about the deal and stuff like that, but we knew we just got gigs by having the best performance. When did you, or you always hear classic songs. Did you know, or did you feel like, I know everybody's in there rocking in the studio, but in the studio, usually it's like 5, 6 people, and then it goes to 10, 12 people. Did y'all shop it? Did y'all send it to the DJs first and see how it flowed in the club? Did you get through that process? When did you know you had something that obviously was huge, or did you ever?
Um, well, what happened was, I wasn't supposed to sing the songs. They were for someone else. So I went home and went about my business thinking, working on my Sade stuff. and
Is it
I,
a...
yeah, then I find out that the Basin Boys they actually used my voice and got the track signed to a label in the UK, which was like, I was very happy. I was like, I'm signed to a label. So, it sat there like from 87 till maybe 88 till 91. So Bruce Carbone at Mercury heard it from the UK,
Oh,
he
wait,
brought it to New York.
you wrote you wrote Gypsy Woman in '87?
Around 87, 88. I sat signed for like 3 years. I was signed so long that the people thought I was lying. Like, she ain't signed to no record label. But yeah, it sat. And then I think Tony Humphries played it in New York. He played it from the cassette. I think the Basin Boys had sent it out. And I think Bruce Carbone heard it, snatched it up right away. I mean, I had no idea any of this was going on. And I get a call like in February saying, hi, this is Bruce Carbone. I think you have a hit record. And I
And
was like,
and this
what?
and now this is what, 91 or 90? 91?
This is probably 90, because I found out like just before it was being released, because it was released. I remember being rushed to New York to do the photo shoots and everything for the song. I think it was doing well in the clubs, but they were trying to get ready for the WMC, the Winter Music Conference in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And they rushed me up there and got all the pictures done and everything. And nobody even thought about an album. So after, I started off in the R&B department at Mercury. Then the next day they put me in the pop department. So I think that's when I kind of knew something big was
They
going
shuffling
on.
this little black girl around like she Whitney. Like, what is
I
going
was
on?
clueless. I was clueless. And, honestly, they had me on the road doing promotion. I was in the UK and they decided they wanted an album. I was not even involved in the project. What they did was they took all the demos I had done, even the Sade stuff, and took it. I mean, these are things that I just kind of sang on an 8-track, not really in the studio, and took it and somehow they mixed it and made it into an album. By the time I got back from Europe, I had an album.
And that was and
that
that was that was surprise.
That, yeah, everybody surprised.
Literally.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Literally.
Surprise!
So
Surprise!
that's what we were like. We were all surprised. So it all worked out. And
And how many songs on Surprise hit Billboard, hit charted? Like,
I think it was Gypsy and Making Happy. I don't know. I know Surprise did well in the underground, but I
right.
don't know. I can't remember what else. I think they ran Gypsy so hard, you know.
Now, and another thing that when you mentioned that, I wanted to touch on. Um, it's sad that it is this way, but we look on outward appearance. So you got this,
Mm,
you you look the part, you dance, you nice shape, nice. Okay, we can take her, send her to a photo shoot. They do whatever they do, but the first
mm.
photo shoot, your hair was pulled back anyway. So it was, I think, or was that the whole look,
Well,
pulled
for
back hair look?
for
Or
the
they just
photo
did.
shoot, it was very 90s hair up. But when we got to the video, they actually let me decide what I wanted to wear. They tried to put me in little short, skimpy outfits, which is not my personality at all. And I was like, no. So they sat down, we pulled out magazines, and I picked out everything I liked. At the time, it was, women in men's clothes. They took me up to Armani. And if you see the ponytail, Gypsy Woman, that was a nod to Sade because I wanted the long and
Yo, the
see,
juice, Sade.
see, that's why I had the ponytail. But yeah, so that part was really good. I learned a lot doing that part. But I'll be honest, I kept my job at the parole board for a year and a half because I wanted my insurance. I didn't get it. I thought, it would be just that. And I wanted to make sure I had my health insurance. And, just in case that was it.
I hear about people all the time. I mean, sad. You hear stories, sad stories that George Clinton is doing hair someplace right now because he doesn't have the rights to his music. He signed away the rights to his music years ago. So
Yeah,
he's
that's
somewhere, George Clinton in a salon somewhere doing hair. But
it.
Anthony Hamilton was still cutting hair when his stuff was being played. He was like, I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. I
You
see
never know.
people. Yeah, can't quit too soon.
Right. The image thing is really big because I guess around the time you were hitting or at well, Martha Wash was before then because I just watched the thing with Sylvester and realized that Martha Wash was one of Sylvester's background singers.
Hmm.
And how long she had worked in the industry. They did the Weather Girls, but when it came to house and dance music, you didn't see Martha. You
Yeah,
know,
you saw the model because
you know.
we were like that's Martha's voice. That's Martha's voice. There's no other voice like that. So yeah,
So
I
how
remember that.
it had to be gratifying to you, but even though you never probably, I don't know if you were ever a big kid but I don't know if how gratifying that was to you to know that they just said, Crystal, the music is hitting, and you look, come on,
Yeah.
let's put you out front because there's people like Marsha who's working their ass off. And I didn't even, when I heard Black Box was huge. And then they
Hmm.
started touring, and you're looking at the chick like something ain't right here.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All
Yeah.
those companies that had the,
Hmm.
CNC and stuff, and then they got to search, they got somebody on the album, and then they got to search for a person to fit close to
Millie
the voice.
Vanilli. Millie
Uh,
Vanilli was the ultimate. So yeah, I mean, it still happens. I mean, it's getting different now. People don't even need to be in the video. People don't even want to be in some of these videos now because of the fame part of it. But yeah, I think when I hear other people's stories about, especially people that came after me, like they tried to dress people like me, the dance artists and they're, So
what you're
yeah,
saying,
I guess I was blessed.
yeah, from what you're saying, you made that decision. Say, no, I'm not gonna be the skimpy dress chick. I want to flow how I see people flow. Plus, being from D.C., Maryland, I think it's something that comes from because we come from a diaspora, a place where there's such a large amount of professional women.
Yeah, I was
Black,
in the business. I was in the business school at Howard University, and you had to wear that outfit to class. You had to be in a professional outfit to go to class anyway. So I think I was already in that mode, and that's who I was. And I think I'm lucky that they noticed that there were females up there who were on my side. I think I had some good people around me.
That's very key. That's very key. And this is I mean, how you become the biggest thing. This is the time you at Howard during the time of like a different world and all that energy and all black. It was wonderful to be black, and then you come and hit pop at a whole nother level, and you start touring. How was it to go to Europe? How did that? Had you ever traveled abroad before then?
Nope, I had never been abroad. I think my first place I went to was the UK, top of the pops, and I flew on the Concorde. You remember the Concorde?
I've heard of the Concorde. I've never been on it. You remember the Concorde? Hell yeah, I remember the Concorde.
Because I had to be back for a show in New York, like the next day, within a couple hours, and I had to go by myself, but it was a great experience. I mean, it was very nice. I mean, it happened really fast, and like I said, I had 2 children at the time, so you can imagine mommy don't go part. So I had to battle with the kids and the record label, me asking for time off, and the label said, we're not going to promote your record, or we're going to do this. They would threaten me with stuff. And, I was representing the Basin Boys. I didn't want to, let them down. I didn't want to let anybody down at this point. But it was tough with, having the kids and leaving and coming back, getting nannies and stuff like that, So that part of it is tough. And back then, it wasn't cool to have kids, There were people who would get dropped if they got pregnant, the women, as a female, you had to be a certain thing. So, they kind of kept that under wraps that I had kids and things like that. So it kind of dampened the whole experience. But, I loved Jordan. I loved the crowds. I got to see so much. I got to meet so many great people. And, honestly, I've been on tours for the last 25 years, 29 years. And this is my first summer off, and I'm kind of enjoying it.
I'm hearing you know what? It's funny. I'm hearing a lot of people in the industry working hard, be it entertainment, acting. One day I saw Niecy Nash talking to Little Rel on a live, and he was like, "You know what? I really like my damn house," and she's like, "I like my house too."
Yeah, that's how it's feeling right now.
You don't think about that, and a lot of people, you made a decision. You talked about I don't know if you said one. You have 2 daughters.
Yes.
And you said both of them are in Los Angeles now, or one of them?
Yes, both of them.
So, and are they in the industry, or they?
One of them, my youngest daughter works for BET, and my other daughter is a graphic artist.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, as you're going on, because you said you had your kids by the time you were in college.
No, like my senior year in college.
Oh, okay. So they grew up with this experience. When you talk to them later, both of them adults now.
Yeah.
When you talk to them later, what pieces did you get from them about it? How did it, as adults, how do they see it now?
I never asked them, but when I did an unsung, and they asked them that question, and my daughter said all she knows, she remember we went from this little apartment to this big 5,000 square foot house. And, it was people, I would pick them up from school, and the kids would rush out to the car to get, and they were like, "Oh, mommy's famous." They didn't get it till a little later too. But I we never really talked about it, but that's what they said.
They interviewed Patti LaBelle's son one time. He said he was with his mother in the grocery store, and all these people lined up. She's like signing stuff. He was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
He told her later on what he did. He was like, "Mom, what's going on? Can we just?" She was like, "Oh, baby, I just." It's like,
yeah. All they think of is mommy. You just mommy and nothing else. I would come home so tired. They were like, "Nope, mommy, you taking us to school. Nope, mommy, you cook dinner." So they, how kids are.
Yeah, and it's not even just being a regular music artist and doing concerts and stuff and staying up late, but to be a pop and dance music like the queen, meaning that some of your performances probably started at 2 a.m.
Oh yeah, jeez.
And then afterwards, they're like, "No, don't leave, Crystal. We have a
whole you have to have that
party next 7 days."
After party, then the after party. Yeah.
So just the fact that's why I even like, this guy's flirting with me. Why does he keep saying I look so good? That's why I'm like, yo, you look amazing. Because a lot of times you hear the people that have that kind of life, and what kept you grounded all these years? Because you're still hitting. Like, I just listened to an interview, and I'm friends with DJ Spin, and I interviewed him, and I heard the joint you dropped with Spin, and I was like, you're still doing it. You're still doing it. What's kept you grounded all these years?
I think, the kids kept me grounded. You got to pay your bills. But, I love this. I love what I'm doing. I love touring. I realize that I'm blessed to do what I get to do. And, I just love it. I love dance music. I love writing. And, people, they say, are you retired? You're going to stop? I'm like, I'm not qualified to do anything else at this point. I can't get a job anywhere else.
Oh, that's no, you were right. Have you written for any other artists?
I have tried, but all the the producers I work with, they're like, no, Crystal, we need you to sing it. We want you to sing it. Because I've always wanted to do an alias, so I could do some more of the down tempo chill, that kind of some more Sade chill house stuff.
Yo, I want to hear, and we pay for a Crystal Waters jazz album the way you want to do it. Do you ever thought about doing it together?
I actually started a straight up jazz album. But now I'm thinking more of doing more of a chill jazz, lounge type of thing. And I wanted to do it as an alias, but the producers want my name on it. They're like, nope.
Name on it.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna figure it out though. I'm gonna figure it out.
There's a DJ I always listen to, and I have to interview him too. He's in Canada. His name is Ja Big. I think he's from Africa. But if you go on, like, if I just want something on YouTube when I'm working or doing something, I'll go to Ja Big's channel, and he just has tons of mixes. And I think about, especially going into this next level, coming off of COVID and quarantine and all this stuff, the buzz and the energy that a lounge, the chill lounge, Crystal Waters chill lounge jazz would be in every coffee shop around the world. We need it.
All right, you sound like you're my manager now.
We'll talk after.
We'll talk.
It's part of what I'm. Oh, no, I'm serious because I love jazz. When I was in Baltimore, I helped these two owners in Baltimore start a jazz club called Club 347, and I've been working with live music all my life in concerts. And I am a coffee fanatic. You see, I always have some coffee near me. But the energy that we took for granted, we're about to go into a time where, and you went to the place, you traveled to the place where there was no, in the 90s, there were no Starbucks coffee shops like in Paris. That atmosphere exists. The guy who started it with Starbucks went to Paris and said, man, what if we stopped just selling people beans and having tasting? What if we made this into like a Paris type flavor? That's what I say in the grande, so the whole energy of what they started doing with the music and stuff was trying to recreate what they have in the UK. You already know, you were a part of that culture already.
Yeah. We we say we're pioneers now because we didn't know what we were doing. We were just doing what we were doing.
No, it moves. Really know you had something. Being yourself. Like, what would you tell a young female? And I know we got to start winding down, but what would you tell any artist, but definitely the young female artists, about being? And I'm not knocking the Cardi B and whoever if they being who they are. Cardi B is being who she is. I can't really.
That's what I was going to say. Be who you are. Don't try to be Cardi, because Cardi's being Cardi. She's already taken. But to be yourself and stay true to yourself, because once you get out there, they'll drain you. They'll take it all, So if you're not authentic and true to yourself, you get, you're going to get judged every day. So you got to be yourself. You got to believe in yourself. You got to stay strong. Sometimes you get into the business thinking it's all, champagne and limousines. And it's really a lot of hard work, and there's really not a lot of nice people. There's a lot of, mean-spirited people around too, as you see on all the social media. I don't know how I could have done it if social media was happening back then, but You know,
Yeah.
for artists now to be out there and exposed like that, you got to be tough. You got to stay true, and you got to have good legal advice. You got to.
I was about
Don't
to
get
say,
your cousin. Don't get your cousin. Don't get. There's plenty of lawyers that'll do pro bono. You know, there's plenty of universities with, you know, with law schools. Get an entertainment attorney, because that really. My roommate from Howard is my attorney. She's actually George Clinton's attorney too. She's getting his money back, just so you know.
you know what's so funny? I know
uh,
I saw her, and I don't know if it was the doc or Unsung. I know who you're talking about because the lady
yeah,
said we're working hard to get his stuff. Okay, that's
yeah,
cool.
Lita Rosario.
I
Um,
really have to interview her because
you
that's my
do.
question all the time. How are the young people doing now with things like Spotify, and they're just putting music out? And I know
You
artists
should.
that are just putting music out. It's like, how much you make? Oh, I make this and that. And I was like, so
You should. You should really interview. She has a lot of, you know, we're doing a new thing now because Sound Exchange doesn't pay for samples. You know, Gypsy gets samples all the time. So now we're making sure in these contracts, this is something, please pass on to everybody else, to ask for at least 10% of your Sound Exchange money if they sample you. And Lita is also the person that recruited Kamala Harris into the debate team at Howard. So they're really close. And she's actually, you know, helping with the campaign, doing stuff. We have a special tomorrow night, Saturday, for all Howard alumni. We get to speak to Biden and Harris on a Zoom call. So
y'all getting it first here.
yeah, we're
Y'all
getting
getting
it.
it
We're
first.
very
Now I got to drop this interview right now, like right after drop it, so y'all get the whole scoop. All right,
yeah.
we got 2 minutes. I want to and thank you for, like I said, thank you for taking time out. Um,
Mm.
and we got to do a part 2 or 3 or 8. I definitely want to do the part. I want the exclusive interview when you drop Crystal Waters Jazzy
Lounge,
Lounge.
chill,
Yeah,
chill waters.
you do Chill Waters version of what's your favorite Sade song?
Oh, probably is it a crime?
Yeah, I'd love to hear you. I'd love to hear you do your versions of that.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't got to worry about it because if you do your chill lounge, how everything you can do everything you want to do. 250 DJs gonna remix your stuff anyway. So you know,
Yeah.
eight,
Yeah.
you don't have to do a house lick on it. All the DJs would be like, "Did you get Crystal Water music?"
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of vocals. People say, "You have any leftover vocals?" I'm like, "Nope." Everything I do, somebody, even if it doesn't work right away, they'll find a way to remix it and make it work. So that's the beauty of being in dance. You know,
Yeah.
they're gonna find a way to make it work. You know.
Did you ever think that, and like I said, I'm closing out, but did you ever think that so many, like now, think about the past 5 years, how many hip hop artists have sampled Gypsy Woman?
Oh, Gypsy gets sampled twice a year. She has a life of her own. I just check in on her, and a lot of the DJs in Europe, um, they're like Afrojack. This sample had a big sample on it. Clean Bandit. This is why I'm asking for my sound exchange money. But yeah, it's called an evergreen, and I just sit here, and we either send out cease and desist or pay me, or sign. You know, I'm really blessed with that. And you know, especially when the hip hop kids do it, I'm like, wow, that's really big. When Ti did it, I was just totally shocked. But it's nice to know that they, you know, they like it. They see some value to it.
Yeah. So thank you, young lady. Thank you for taking a minute out. We got to do it again. I'm
Okay.
serious about. Oh, you know, we'll get on the sidebar. I'll get your information.
Okay. All
Quick
right.
as a game.
Look, don't start business with me. I'm here to finish it. You know.
Y'all heard that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Crystal
And I'll
Waters,
get
thank
you.
you. How can people get in touch with you? How can they find you, find out what's up, and get some
Mhm.
more of your music?
Well, I'm on Instagram at Crystal Waters. I don't play with Facebook too much. You can also find me. I have a podcast called I Am House. Crystal Waters presents I Am House podcast on iTunes, Google, and Android. I also have a record label. If you have any artists that's aspiring to do some house music, I'm looking for house music vocals and music. You can contact me at iamhouserecords.com, IAH.com, demos at IAM. You can reach me. I'm on Instagram too. And for all you beautiful men, I have a skincare line for men called Boy Face. It's a clean, plant-based business school, I'm telling you. It's a
No,
clean,
I got the.
plant-based.
I have to. We're gonna have to talk some more because
Yeah.
I got the. When she sent it to me, I was like, "Is this boy faces in boy face?" Because I got.
Yeah. So I'm really having fun with that. It's on Amazon, or you can go to boyfacemeat.com. Just look around. You know what I'm saying? Support a sister.
Perfect. Thank you, Crystal. You look amazing, and
Thank you.
for doing so much for the culture continuously, and for the next push, and get out and vote, y'all. HU on the.
Yes. Yes, please.
I appreciate you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.